Hi, I'm Georgina Feist. Today we are doing another review and critique of an Oscar-nominated film. Again, female-led, female-written, and female-directed. Promising Young Woman. It's an amazing film. It starts out, the opening scene at a nightclub. There is a woman who is gorgeous and extremely drunk, unable to hold herself up. The statements at the very beginning set the tone for the film. Three men, average Joes, that are incredibly sexist and predatory with their comments, shaming and blaming her as if she were asking for it. One of them yells, "Why don't you get some dignity, sweetheart? If she's not careful, someone's gonna take advantage." He also said, "You'd think she'd learn by that age, right?" The blame of her being a victim has already been set. That if something bad were to happen to her, that it would be her fault. That she shouldn't look great, she shouldn't dress great, and she certainly shouldn't allow herself ever to be vulnerable and drunk at a bar like men have the privilege to do. The seemingly nicest one of the three male friends goes over to help and make sure she's okay. He offers her a ride home, which was very kind of him. He wants to make sure she gets home safely. He sees himself as a nice guy. Then he has the spontaneous idea that maybe she might want to come for a nightcap, another drink, because she hasn't had enough to drink yet. After giving her another drink, he takes her to the bedroom and proceeds to start to have sex with her, only to find out she isn't drunk at all. It is the moment of justice for her best friend in med school, who was gang raped, had to drop out of school, and eventually took her own life. Carey Mulligan's character, Cassie, played a modern-day vigilante going after systemic sexism and all the perpetrators of it. She finds that there are many, many, many nice guys willing and ready to be predators.
I am a nice guy.
Are you?
She keeps a book of records. In one of the next scenes, after the opening bar scene, we see her marking off one more conquest. Pages and pages of them. Cassie was walking home after revealing to her nice guy date that she actually was not drunk. She was walking home in her bare feet, in a skirt, and there were men catcalling. In this context, it made it so clear how violent catcalling is. We know that it's not an innocent behavior. This is a verbal attack, an energetic attack, an objectification of women, in that women are just meant to be objects for men. The character Dean Walker, a female character, was the dean at the med school when Nina Fisher was raped. It was reported to her and she dismissed it as hearsay. Dean Walker said that Nina Fisher made bad choices, that she allowed herself to be vulnerable by drinking. She said it was her word against his. And how can she possibly ruin a young man's life? One of the scenes that was incredibly powerful is when Cassie tricks the dean's daughter into thinking she's going to the diner to wait to be on a music video shoot with her favorite band. And she goes to visit the dean and confronts her on not taking Nina Fisher's reporting of the gang rape seriously. Then Cassie tells her that she has dropped her young daughter off at the frat room, the same one that Nina Fisher was raped in. And the dean went insane. She finally saw how dangerous these young men were. Cassie, at the end of the scene, says, I guess it feels different when it happens to someone you love. And that's the crux of it. One of the really interesting and touching moments of the film was when she went to the attorney who had defended the boy that raped her friend. This attorney harassed Nina Fisher to the point of forcing her to withdraw her lawsuit. He was one of the perpetrators of her eventual suicide. When she went to go visit him, she had plans for him. She had an enforcer waiting outside ready to teach him a brutal lesson. But much to her surprise, he had had an epiphany and was living his life in remorse and anguish for what he had done. He had somehow been able to see through the cultural norms that keep this horrific behavior in place and see through to his conscience. He couldn't sleep anymore. He was on his knees begging for her forgiveness, and she put her hand on his back tenderly and said she forgave him and told him to sleep. He became an ally for her toward the end of the story. But this gave her a change of heart. She threw her book away and decided not to engage in this manhunt anymore. Film and media have such power to change lives, to change the course of action, to change societies, to change laws over time. This film is part of dismantling rape culture. I watched this film and I felt so inspired. I felt so grateful to these filmmakers, to Carey Mulligan, to Emerald Fennell, that are willing to tell this story. It was also heartbreaking. There were parts of this film that were heartbreaking and hard to watch. Last week we reviewed Nomadland, also a challenging film to watch. Real art addresses the tough stuff. Real art creates systemic change in society. Both of these films are real art. I actually run a company called Real Art Daily Productions with the intention of creating real art. Promising Young Woman scores a 10 out of 10 on the feminist meter in my book. Female-led, female-directed, female-written, amazing female storyline that addresses and confronts some of the hard stuff that our society hasn't been able to chisel a huge dent in. And I'm excited to see what awards this film wins this year at the Oscars. Oh, my cat wants to say goodbye again. Signing off. Have a great day.